So this is Fernando Ribeiro, and this is the last video tutorial about slots and overlays. And in this video I would like to explain more about the considerations of creating assets for UMA avatars, and especially combining those different assets. So one thing we discussed in the last video sequence is that I'm actually going to swap between the military boots and the feet itself. So having different volumes between them is not a big problem, but we've noticed actually some not so good junction between the male gems and the boots. So what I've done is I've imported here the male gems so I can take a look on both of them and hopefully explain some ways to minimize the problem here. The best way possible to handle this would be to actually have a very rigid standard for defining the limits between assets, so we wouldn't have any problem in junctions. But at least for now, I'm avoiding entirely this solution because this would considerably reduce the creativity and flexibility of the content creators and reduce the variation of assets possible. So I will basically try to show how we can minimize this issue. So let me hide the gems for a while so I can show you this. So there are some other stuff that I would like to also discuss. Okay, so I'll enter here the edit mode and press N. And we have here many options. Most of them are for displaying information and this kind of thing. And we have here something interesting. It's for displaying the normals. I will reduce the length of those vectors so we can have a preview of the normal direction. So this is the usual situation where we have the normals pointing in the correct direction, but we have this specific situation here. In this case, as we have considerable distance between the two meshes, it's also possible to view this area here. And inside Unity, you will notice this will not be visible because normals are only pointing this direction. And there are usually two ways to handle that. One is using a two-sided shader, a shader that don't remove vertices and triangles that are pointing with normals pointing on the opposite direction. But this is expensive because we end up with more rendered triangles. And the other option is to actually duplicate some of the mesh here or generate extra mesh here with the normals pointing on the right direction. Also, other thing I want to adjust is the distance itself between the feet and the military boots. Let me show you this. I will select here the bone, the armature, and I'm going to select the foot bone here and scale it. And hopefully you can see. Let me try to. Probably this one is better to show this. Yeah. So even scaling the leg itself for an extreme value like this, I don't expect anyone doing this kind of volume in fault. at least adjusting a little bit of the feet itself and the rest of the body. But what I want to mention is that the distance between the two meshes keeps the overall aspect. What I want to explain with that is that it's really not necessary to keep a very big distance between the two meshes if you know you won't be including an extra mesh between the two, because with the way we handle the skinning, mesh already adapts to any size. So there is no need to keep this amount of distance between the meshes. Uh, it's good to keep some distance, especially when working with the torso, because there are so many bones having influence over one single vertex. So we end up with the chance of the skin poking through the cloth itself. But in this case here, as we have very little influence, very little bones influencing the vertex, there is no need to have so much distance. So that's another thing I will cover on the edges I will be doing now. I won't record all the edges because it would take a long time, so I'll basically stop and show after the edges. Okay, so after the changes, that's what I have here. Let me change between both versions so you guys can see the difference. This is the original one, and after the adjusts. So it's clear that the way the junction work here is not perfect, but at least the combination is more consistent. I mean, when you see something like this, it's more obvious that we have problems with the junction, and also in this area here and here. I also defined the gems material as black, so we have more contrast, and it will be easier to notice the problems. And after the edges, we have more consistent volume between the gems and the military boot itself. So it's not perfect, but end up looking better. And again, if you really want to have the perfect combination, you actually need to have some standard for defining where each content should be limited so that you have perfect junctions. So let me hide here the gems, and so this is the other part I want to show you. So I've included extra mesh here, and this is especially good for the junction with the leg itself, as you can see as well. So this way I at the same time can have the space between the leg and feet and the boot, and I can actually see this area here. It's also rendered. So the last step, I'll select those and guarantee that we have the normals pointing in the right direction. So right now, as you can see, they are pointing down. So the culling would still cut out this mesh here. So I'm actually going to flip those normals. Here I press, you see, I probably can do this here also, so you guys can be sure how it's done. So in mesh, faces, and flip normal. So now they are pointing in the right direction. And I always like to extend the mesh way more than necessary through the skin itself, just to guarantee that the combination is working. So if I select here the bones, you can see that it still works, and the boot is keeping the volume and adjusting quite well. Okay, so last step I will save here, and let me get back to this one and simply show you guys how I handle those extra vertices. So I usually enter here on the orthogonal view and get the mesh from a good angle. I select this group of polygons. Let me just take this one also. I won't work on this side, only on one side of the mesh. And the important part here is I'm going to duplicate this with Shift D. Okay, and usually I move like this and right click so I know it's on the exact same spots, and then I invert the selection. It's probably here also. Okay, here inverse, and I hide this, and after that I can actually select the lower area and scale. And now if I unhide, I have this combination. The benefits here, again, I need to adjust the normals, because if they were a duplication of this one, they would be not in the right direction. But also we have duplicated vertices here, and in this case I usually like to keep this way, because then we have the hard edges on these limits. We could even have an extra mesh here to have more complex volume on this curvature here, but I'm trying to keep this simple. Just so you can compare, I will duplicate this one, and in this one I'm going to remove the duplicated vertices here on remove double, and after it is removed, we'll see there is only one vertex, but we end up with calculation of the vertices, the normal itself, and in a different way, as you can see here. And especially for the calculation of the light, I heavily prefer this solution here with the hard edges, because we end up with better lighting. Okay, so we are reaching the time limit for this specific video, and as I still plan to show you guys the integration with those late updates, I will provide another video tutorial with the final steps on this video. So I hope this has been useful for you guys, and that's it for now. See you guys, goodbye.